Hey. Hi guys, welcome back. This is part 2. If you didn't see part 1 yet, you can check that free link out. It's right there in the description box. Thank you so much in advance for giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing if you do enjoy the fact that I do these extendeds and make them available to everyone free. Thank you guys so much for supporting my free art. Thank you for giving all the videos thumbs up. It really does help the channel. It's the only way videos can circulate. So thank you again, you guys. I really, really appreciate you. And as do all creators, when you give that little thumbs up, it really does help any of your favorite content creators that you might be watching. Not saying I'm one of your favorites, but just to anyone that you patronize and visit. It's a big help to all creators. So thank you. All right. If you didn't see part 1, you probably won't know where we're at right now, but we're going to dive right in. Okay. So, and I've just, I'm starting with different decks here, but this is part 2 because I felt like we were leaving so many unanswered questions with what's the deal with the Empress and the King of Pentacles. What is going to happen next? And we kind of left it with the universe having a big old showdown, mouthing off and giving their advice to the Empress's, like preparation for the fact that that person who kept abandoning again and again, that Two of Cups, was on their way in. So we picked this storyline up with there's justice here, and that means there has to be some kind of karmic balance. This storyline had a trigger warning on part 1 just because I felt like it was a really heavy topic. But it was literally a person, a Two of Cups individual who kept abandoning the connection that they wanted to be in. Well, here again, we see the empty chair. The abandonment has to be addressed. They cannot keep doing this cycle. And the encouragement was for the Empress to put a stop to that cycle by not allowing them back in every time they bounce back, 8 months, 3 years, 6 years later. They don't get their fix anymore of her. We've got this 3 of Wands and the Strength card. She is going to have to be, I feel like they left it too long this time. They may have already done cycles where they left and came back to her, left and came back to her. It won't work this time is what it says. This time the karma hits. Every time what's that song? Every time you go away, you take a piece of me with you. Them leaving, by the way, they could have been a Libra. We never really got a really strong label for them necessarily, other than they wanted to come back in as a Knight of Cups in part 1. But we never really had them show up as like a particular really strong title. But now we could say maybe they are a Libra. But it's time that they actually show up and they finally get their karmic justice. If they show up in her world and they realize, oh my God, she has somebody, she's even in a stronger connection. There is some kind of, person who's maybe protecting her, somebody who's loving her, somebody that she sees a future with. I never really dreamed that that might be an option for her because I was always so focused on me. I want to be able to come into her life, get good loving, have that dose of like honeymoon phase with her. And then instead of committing to my Two of Cups, to my Empress, I'll split again. I'll abandon the connection again because I'm so petrified. What if I stayed and built with her? And then it's too risky because what if something goes belly up and what if she leaves me? I'm so scared of that, of heartbreak, that I always leave her first. But then I get so lonely without her that I keep coming back. And they thought that would be their routine. I'm not saying that they calculatingly thought it out, but that's what they've been doing. That's what we saw in part 1, which is why I put a trigger warning on it. But this time when they come back, the universe was encouraging her, make sure you have someone else this time. Make sure that you're not tempted to just welcome them into your world. And I think it's because this is the time that they need to recognize she maybe isn't on board with this little game that they play. And that they lost it. They left it so long. They left her alone. They played this game so much. She finally got sick of them and she started to build with somebody else. She may always still love them. It's a Two of Cups after all, but that doesn't mean she can't love somebody else who can be there for her, be a healthy match for her. And they are possibly going to find that out. Is she going to have someone then by the time that they return? We saw them in the chariot like they were headed her way, but we didn't know how fast that might be. When I say, is she going to be with someone else by the time they arrive? I would say definitely, but let me put it this way. If she's not actually with someone, she may still come across as if she is. Now, meaning that, look, a King of Swords has great boundaries. A King of Swords energy is like the thought process is finally going to smack them in the face that, oh my God, what if she actually has somebody else? Why did I never think of that? All this time I was so scared that if I stayed with her, she might kick me out. So then I kept abandoning her, forgetting that that leaves her available to anyone else to date. And she's amazing. So holy crap, she's with somebody else. And I said, will she really be with someone else by the time he enters into the scene again? And it says he will be blocked. Let's put it that way. And he is going to lose his mind. We have got that 5 of Swords. He is going to feel like, oh, what villain has stolen away my lady love? But in fact, we could say he's been the villain of love in the way he's been behaving. She's going to be hotter than ever, too. If he tries reemerging on the scene, he's going to discover that there's someone else's energy that is blocking his. Now, this could purely be a friend. Maybe she's not actually dating that, we saw a potential like King of Pentacles, that she was like encouraged to meet somebody stable and loving and embark on a new romantic journey for herself, something that she would really deserve. She can love more than one person, right? She may always love this 2 of Cups person who keeps abandoning, but on the other hand, we have to make healthy choices, because not every person that we do love is going to be healthy enough to make us happy, and vice versa. And so it's just kind of understanding that love takes on many different forms. And we can say, I care about them, always will. There was a huge bond, but I am madly in love with this new person. Or in this case, this could all just play out in their head too, that they are finally understanding. If she kind of gives them a little bit of the brush off, or she's less interested in talking to them when they show up, they may suddenly have the idea that, oh my God, she's with somebody else, even if she's technically not. I don't know. Empress, she's definitely giving vibes that she's in a connection. I'm a Queen of Wands with my King of Swords. Yes, she still is the Empress. Yes, she still is their 2 of Cups, but they're thinking that some dirty scoundrel has come in and stolen their Empress right out from under their nose. That's not what the reality of it is. This is their karma. They're going to be filled with this jealousy of thinking that somebody who was theirs, is snatched away from them, when in fact, they're the ones that didn't show up for her consistently, protect the relationship, and dedicate themselves to building with her. That is their karma. It's just interesting to see that first they'd be like, what villain has stolen my Empress? Well, that's not who the villain is, darling. Page of Wands. I don't know. I keep feeling all of this very we're downgrading all the time in this storyline. Like this, they don't really seem to be learning much of a lesson here, other than, maybe I can win her back, but again, with just the most mild of attempts with that Page of Wands. The Magician in the reverse. Here's what I don't quite understand. And again, I'm so sorry this is the story that we got, but with the amount of importance that this connection has in their life, truly, it seems like it brings out the very smallest version of themselves. The bigger the love, the more fearful they are. And we saw that, right? We saw that it was a 2 of Cups that they wanted to treat as just a lover's connection that they wanted to abandon because of fear. We had the Devil card. And it's like the Devil card trumps all of their behavior no matter what. Now, if they come back to her and they think she's not that interested in me, oh my God, she must be with someone else. And now they're all petty and they're like, I'm mad because she must be with somebody else. Well, you know what? I'll win her back. But they're putting in like the tiniest, most ridiculous amount of effort and lying to themselves that that's going to be enough to do the trick. It's almost like then they get cocky. Well, you know what? Even if she is with somebody else, I can probably get her back because you know what? I was a better kisser. I was a better lover. And they're totally lying to themselves, and they're not approaching this right at all. They still seem to not be getting the message. Everything about how important this romance isn't making them level up. It's bringing out more of their shadow, is what it kind of feels like to me, which could be good, because maybe this is where little by little, they're going to get that reality check. Hey, I can't act like this or I lose her. I can't win her back with ineffective attempts. Maybe I have to go back to the drawing board. We have an 8 of Pentacles. Maybe this is the point where they start working on themselves, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. They're going to realize that they have blown this opportunity, that maybe she is with somebody else now. And if they really want to have a new beginning, they can't do any of the things that they've been doing in the past. Let's go over to her for a moment, because I feel like she's like the primary focus of this whole story, and we barely talked to her. Empress, how do you even feel about them? Okay, so she's no longer heartbroken over them, which is fabulous, with the 3 of Swords in the reverse. That's absolutely fabulous. At this moment in time, when they reapproach her, she is not in this devastated loss. Do you still want them? Hanged Man sideways, she really couldn't say. She's kind of, I'm not going to say she's become numb over this. I'm going to say she doesn't know what to think of this. So the abandonment cycle must have, let me just ask that. What did their abandonment cycle do for you? The Sun in the reverse. It made me realize that even if I loved this person, and even if I know they loved me, I don't see how this is going to make me happy. Good. So basically she just got real centered and grounded and was like, this is so not a good time. I can't even be heartbroken over this, because it's just nonsense. And I don't get what the hell they're doing, but I do know that it doesn't make me happy. So why would I want stuff back that doesn't make me happy? It's not even about me being heartbroken or betrayed. This is now just wasting my time. So she got real grounded. By the way, we do have Leo and we do have Pisces coming out for her as well. Okay, so at this point in time, when they return, because they are, do you know that they're returning? 4 of Wands. Oh yeah, of course, because every time they've returned, and I'm guessing they've done this a couple times, there's always the, this huge, like, she even might say, I always thought that, it always has felt like we were supposed to be this happily married couple, but it's like they always wind up in the honeymoon phase. And she may already know, of course they're going to come back. It's about time for them to want another honeymoon with me. It's about time that they come back in, because in some respects, she's like, I know that we're a 4 of Wands. I've seen what it could be if we were together. But this whole cycle of abandonment has let me know this. I can't even be heartbroken over it, because this is just something that I don't know that they'll ever grow up and be able to do a true 4 of Wands. Oh, we have a taste of it. Sure, it would have been possible, but that's not what it turns into. So does she know that they're coming back? Yes. She knows their cycle. Maybe it's every 4 years. I don't know. So how are you going to handle it when they show back up? Page of Cups in the reverse. She's like, I don't need an apology. I don't want to hear from them. She doesn't want anything at this point from them. So the universe's pep talk back in part 1, at the end of part 1, probably she didn't need to hear, because she's like, there isn't an apology that they could even give about this. And I don't want an offer from them. I don't want some little like pages amount of energy. We're not having a do-over where they come in and say sorry and I get teary-eyed and then I, start fresh and I have all my hopes and dreams with them again. She's basically a veteran of this now. She's been there, done that. So what does that mean? They're coming back. You don't want an apology. You don't have any new beginning. She's like, yeah, here's the thing. This is a really exhausting 2 of Cups relationship. And honestly, it is what it is. There is no magical fantasy to this. There is a bond I know that they have with me. And I also know that this repetitious cycle is exhausting. And I also know that this abandonment thing and them coming back, I think she's ready to shelve this and turn it into, they'll probably always reach out to me. And maybe I can care about this person, but I'm certainly not doing a romance with them. Like that might be where she's totally cool to say, this person has a lot of wounds that make them run, that make them play all these stupid games. And it's not stupid if it's because they're wounded, right? We see the medical staff. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen, but I can't help them as someone who they rush in and profess their love to. I already know that they love me, but we're not doing the honeymoon phase again and again. They actually have to heal. And so that means we got to change the dynamics in this relationship. They're going to keep coming back to me, or I could just call it what it is and say, no, you don't have to apologize, but you also, you're not going to touch me. We're not getting into bed together. You've got a bunch of stuff to heal from. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to shake your hand. I'm not going to, You can't kiss me on the lips. We're not at that point anymore. I've seen this is a powerful bond. I know you care about me. I know you're also a hot mess. So no, you can't. I've cried so much and I've moved on so far that now I can see this for what it is. Yes, it's a bond, and that could be a beautiful thing as long as it doesn't become toxic, and it's been that way. So I moved on from the toxic bit. I really think this is maybe an even better way for her to handle this whole thing, and this is a better karma. He keeps thinking he can come back in for this lover's connection. He's going to get that fix, and he's going to be able to come home to her and blah, blah, blah. She's not actually going to be giving out any of that vibe. She may or may not be with another romantic partner by the time he shows up, but that's none of his business. She may not answer any questions, even if he's imagining that she's with somebody else. She's not bringing up anything like that. She's only dealing with the situation between the two of them. I don't need your apologies. No, I know you're coming back for the honeymoon phase again. But see, that's not actually, I figured out what this is, and I needed to let go of the idea that you're here for marriage and that you're here to build something, because I know you're not. I know that you're actually wounded. I know that you come back because you do love me, but I'm not going to keep getting hurt by the fact that you're hurt and that you're scared. So instead, you're somebody that, I do care about you, but you're not ever going to have that place in my life based on the way things have been. We got this 8 of Swords. There is this energy. She may say, I don't know why you did all this, but I don't want to try to figure it out. Keep your walls up however you want, but the games don't play out on me anymore. Like, she really is she's just over it, but she's not angry. She's not devastated. She's not hopeful. She literally is just so matter of fact. It's just not going to happen. Okay, Empress, what are you turning your attention to then? Because you seem very satisfied, Empress, with the way you're handling him. 10 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles. She is focusing on her life, her home, her wealth, her, success, and she might be very much focusing on a relationship elsewhere or starting to build a new bond with somebody else. I think it's great to see that she's much more stable and that she's investing in stability. So with that in mind, I don't want to take this to a part 3. Can we just wrap this up and say, is there any future for her in this 2 of Cups? Because we can already see that she's laid down some law. We have a 7 of Swords. We have the Tower sideways. We have the 9 of Pentacles. Look, this isn't the last she will have heard from them. They will act like it's over, and it's not. They will act like they're, something is collapsing and they surrender. Okay, I get it. I'll move on. They won't, but they might actually start working on themselves. They might actually get some more stability in their life. Single without her. Where does she go? 3 of Swords. She very likely may actually address the fact that it was a really big heartbreak, and she intuitively may pick up on the fact that they are devastated that she's letting them go, but she's like, I had to do this. This is like the tough love that she has to give. She knows that they're accepting defeat, although it turns out that's the only way they could maybe really be forced to work on themselves. And her life starts to improve immensely. Her life keeps getting better, stronger. I think she's going to have some serious financial wealth in her future. We have the Empress. We have the Knight of Wands. She's going to have an empire. She really is. And I feel like they're still going to come back into her life again at some point later on. She may have other lovers. She may kind of stay single and date different people at different points in her life before eventually ending up settling down with somebody. She just has more of a journey still where it is possibly more just her for a little bit. Because this storyline, this has been a big old chunk of her life, and they still are so interwoven. She will settle down with somebody at some point. I can't say that it's going to be them. I think she's going to have different lovers. And I think the big thing is her life is going to be extremely successful. She may, after this point in time, have tremendous increase in like financial abundance. And that could be wonderful for her. But it definitely says this is a storyline that's going to take many more years, that they will still know each other and he will come back into her life, but she will have a very rich life. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Whew, that was a long one. Bye.